You are typing a furious reply to a political comment right at this exact second, but your brain's logic center has completely shut down right now. Arguing over a ridiculous meme with some guy in your local neighborhood Facebook group at 6 a.m. feels like a matter of life and death to you. Your chest is pounding, your fingers are shaking, and your energy for the entire day is already gone. You might think this is just an ego problem. No, it is actually not ego. This is completely a biological glitch. Just look at this brain scan for a second. This is not a scan of physical pain. Rather, this exact thing happens inside your head when someone insults your political party. I am Ryan, and today we are looking at why political news is silently destroying your brain. The current political climate in America is so toxic that reading the news has now become a chronic stressor. You wake up in the morning and grab your phone. You see a political headline in your newsfeed, and your mood instantly goes bad. Getting mad at the news and still continuing to scroll is actually not in our control. You might feel like you can just stop it whenever you want, but neuroscience says something else. Researchers at Emory University ran a very familiar experiment during the 2004 American presidential election. They put Democrat and Republican voters inside an fMRI machine and had them read some negative facts about their own candidates. When supporters of George Bush and John Kerry read bad things about their preferred leader, a part of their brain called the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex went completely quiet. This part basically handles our logic and cold, rational thinking. Instead, their ventromedial prefrontal cortex and anterior cingulate lit up. These parts usually get active when we face physical pain or extreme danger. That means your brain no longer sees a political disagreement as just a normal logical debate. It literally treats it as a physical attack. Just like a wild animal charging right at you. But the weirdest thing happens right after this. When someone completely ignores logic to defend their political belief and builds a false argument, magic happens in their brain. Psychology calls this process motivated reasoning. And when this motivated reasoning succeeds, a part of the brain called the ventral striatum gets active. This is the reward center of our brain. In simple words, ignoring reality and clinging to your wrong beliefs makes your brain release a massive shot of dopamine. You literally feel a biological high just for ignoring the truth. And this is exactly why you keep arguing in that Facebook comment box for hours. Your brain is not actually looking for logic, it is looking for that dopamine hit. Now the question is, what kind of emotion do these news stories actually create in our minds? We usually think all negative news gives us the same exact response, but we learn from a researcher named Brian Weeks that anger and anxiety act in totally different ways. When you get really mad watching political news, you go blind. Anger makes our brain extremely defensive. We then support any wrong actions of our party and directly reject any true words from the opposing party. We lose our ability to learn any new information out of anger. But anxiety or worry is a bit different. When a political event creates anxiety or fear in our minds, our brain sends a signal that something is going wrong somewhere. This anxiety then forces us to question even the mistakes of our own party. We then try to step outside the party line and think with an open mind. This might sound good, but it has a dark side. While in anxiety, people often end up believing totally fake news or misinformation spread by the opposing party because their partisan filter does not work properly at that time. Meaning these political news stories are not just manipulating our emotions. They are also completely controlling our ability to understand right from wrong, and our social media scrolling habits are adding fuel to this fire. We all think that scrolling political news all day on Twitter or Facebook keeps us super updated about the world. But when a group of researchers in Germany looked at this, they found a scary truth. They saw that people who consume news from social media fall victim to an illusion of knowledge. Social media news is very short and snackable. They lack any depth and are made just to grab your attention. Since they are very easy to process, they build a false confidence in people's minds. They think they know a lot about politics now. But when their actual objective knowledge is tested, it shows they really learned nothing at all. Because reading a one-line headline cannot explain any complex geopolitical issue in the world. Even though their perceived knowledge is very high, their actual knowledge is zero. On the other hand, things are different for people who read regular quality newspapers. They read long articles and their actual knowledge grows. But they are never overconfident like social media users because they know there are many more sides left to learn about a topic. Social media builds this fake illusion of knowledge in our minds and makes us even more angry and argumentative. You are fighting all day over something you actually know nothing about. And this fake knowledge constantly sends stress signals to your brain. What is the way out of this constant stress and mental fatigue? Psychologists say we subconsciously try to regulate our emotions every single day. A researcher named Brett Ford showed we actually use some specific tricks subconsciously to reduce political stress. The most common one is cognitive reappraisal. This means calming your mind by thinking about a bad situation in a slightly positive way inside your head. You might convince yourself that no matter what the news channels say, everything will be fine at the end of the day. Or you get totally distracted and focus on some other task. These mental tricks work great for your physical and psychological well-being. You feel calm and your stress level goes down. But here comes the biggest trade-off. You have to pay a massive price just to protect your mental health. Whenever you calm your anger or anxiety down like this, your motivation to do something for society also dies inside you. Political anger is what forces people out into the streets. These negative emotions drive people to vote or protest to change the system. When you suppress these emotions for your own mental peace, you no longer want to take any political action. This trade-off between feeling good and doing good throws us into a weird crisis. Do you save your own mental health or take action to fix the wrongs in society? This political burnout is not a small thing. It is a system built to bypass our logic and target our emotions directly. News headlines are made to make you mad because they know you will engage and click only when you get mad. The social media algorithm repeatedly shows you the exact news that makes your illusion of knowledge even stronger. And when you control your emotions to break out of this entire cycle, you become totally indifferent to the system. Honestly, I am not completely sure if deleting all news apps from your phone is the right answer for everyone. Because at the end of the day, you still have to live in this world. Ignoring society entirely to live alone in peace is probably not a very good solution. Then again, chasing the news all day and turning your brain into a war zone is also foolish. We have to find a middle ground where we read the news but avoid falling into the trap of emotional manipulation. We take in information, but not for those tiny social media dopamine hits. We do it to build real knowledge. Next time your chest pounds after reading some news, stop for 1 second. Remind yourself that this is just a natural response from your brain. Your control is still in your hands. What specific news topic ruins your mood in an instant? Let me know in the comments below.